Well, hello, my name's Ben. This is my second evidence of the anthropology of the body. In this video, I'll be explaining four concepts, this being postmodernism, discourse, gaze, and alterity. And later, I'm going to be explaining them in some examples, these being social media in Mexico, mass media in Mexico, and some artists. These could be international or Mexican. In my case, it's going to be international. To begin with, I'm going to start explaining what postmodernism is. Postmodernism begins with a combination of various civil rights movements, all of them questioning who's got power in our society. It comes with the realization of human fragility, human fear, crises, instability, and unfixed truths. Also, postmodernism doesn't really see the world in one way or another. It really sees them in a scale of gray. It's not either white or black, it's gray, it's what's in between. And it also embraces the concept of post-truth, this being that us as human beings, in search of always being right and having a sense of superiority over the other, it's not uncommon to find facts that are ambiguous and evidence that it's not supported for us to prove our point of view. These facts are obviously not truth. They are always based on old theories or just feelings of the one who's explaining them. Also, with postmodernism comes an overflow of diversity that, it ultimately ends up in a diversity trap. This being that with a lot of acceptance in our society of different sorts of embodiment and ways of thinking, we lose one's identity in all of this sea of diversity. Next, we have the discourse. Discourses are expressive messages that carry an ideology. These are ways of thinking, ways of talking about one person's point of view of a given subject. This could be either a power discourse, a masculine discourse, feminine, even love or hate discourses are part of the discourse. Discourse are also considered part of meta-narratives, and this is why a great discourse can be a way to control the way of one's thinking or one acting, or even the way of who wants to look like someone or speak like someone else or speak like you want to do. Next, we have the concept of gaze. Gaze could be considered a pathway for us humans to appreciate external bodies. It's associated with the eye and the sense of sight, and it's a sort of power over the other. The power is always in the one who gazes, and it relies on the one who's being stared at, or what it's being stared at. And also, the concept of gaze isn't really something that's new or part of postmodernism. It comes it's been around for as long as human beings been around on Earth. It's being represented in so much different ways. This could be either male or female gaze, privileged gaze, Western or Eastern gaze, scientific gaze. There's really a whole lot of ways to define the gaze, and combined with these courses, the gaze could be a way of how culture is represented in our society. Next, we've got alterity, and alterity refers really to the acknowledgement of the other's embodiment, the difference between each other and what makes us unique. Its main goal is to put everyone's in the mind of the other, and to have the presence of different types of cultures and bodies in ourselves. Alterity is separated in four different forms, these being invisibility, objectification, domestication, and appreciation. The first one being a way of treating the other as if it didn't exist, or as it's called, just being invisible. Objectification refers to the other as just a mere or simple object. It can be used for one's own means. Domestication treats the other as someone who needs to be tamed, so they don't become unpredictable and easy to control. And to lastly, appreciation. It's a way to pursue a mutual understanding and acceptance within all of us and our different ways of thinking and acting. Next, we have the examples. I'm gonna start with social media examples. My first example is this Facebook page called Philosoraptor. And it's been around for years, and it's really known for its satirical way of explaining and expressing themselves. First of all, postmodernism is really shown in this page for its way of really transmitting the information they want to transmit, the concepts that they treat, also really alterity can also be explained here in this post specifically, that it treats these two actresses as just objects that have to be always pretty and not referring to what they've really accomplished. For example, Emma Watson here, it puts a pic where she was younger, and the next one that she looks, not as young, but really it's just the appearance that it's being talked about here, not really the way they've accomplished all of their achievements. Also, we have this part that also is part of postmodernism, that nowadays we have all types of bodies, and really for example, trans people can be, in this case, pregnant, and it's being used as a way of making fun of them. Also, it could include the hate or transphobic discourse against, everyone. And we have also masculine discourse here, that it talks about how Dior never always gave the opportunity to Johnny Depp, but in this case it's like the only focus of the post is to show that Johnny Depp, for not really for who he was or what was happening, just that Dior was a brand who was supporting a man in this case. Also, the gays in this page can also be seen as sometimes a privileged gaze, or not really a privileged gaze, but how do I explain it? A gaze in which the one who's behind the page cannot be touched. It's really just a character, so they have the freedom to talk about whatever they want and really don't have consequences against themselves. And in this case, also a transphobic discourse against Leah Thomas, who's a new swimmer in the female category and it's been slaying. Also, that's all for my social media example. Next, I have my mass media Mexican example. I have two of them. The first one being this movie called Los trapos sucios no se lavan en casa. And here we have a discourse of a satirical discourse against what our Mexican society has become, but really comes as a racist and privileged discourse instead of a critical one. And a privileged gaze. A privileged gaze because the movie really doesn't talk about how the domestic employees were treated, really just how and what they wanted. It's really just how the two main characters of the privileged family treat the employees, and how they are really not capable of anything else than just being rich. It's really an awful movie. And well, we have also in the second example of mass media, it's Exathlon. In this case, we have examples of gaze and alterity. The gaze being that compared to other programs like La Isla, Exathlon doesn't really see the athletes as just pretty ones. Yeah, they are being stared at for what they can do with their bodies, what physical capabilities does their body have. This can also be counted as alterity. And in this case, also women have the right to be using t-shirts just as men, but in La Isla's case, they are just treated as mere objects and wearing bikinis and shorts, and sometimes not even shorts. And they are treated as subjects. In an Exathlon, they are treated as athletes, what they are. But also, it objectifies their bodies and sees their bodies as perfect bodies that have to be, well, in great physical condition to make all of these challenges. And sometimes it could be harmful for the spectator that wants to have a body like it, but it's not simple. It's not simply possible. Also, postmodernism, this kind of new programs that are shown instead of old TV series or soap operas. The entertainment has changed quite a lot. Next, I have my artist example. It couldn't have been anyone else than just Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga has really become an icon for today's society and music in all around. First of all, as my postmodernism example, I have her mid-dress that could also be counted as a discourse against, well, political powers and what we human beings are being treated as. Not we do not have value more than our meat, and that's what she tried to explain with her dress. The way she was dressing and the way she usually dresses, it's quite extravagant to show that she's not just a part of everyone else. She's her unique self, and she's the one that's really doing everything for herself. Also, she could be counted as in this song. That's the ones that I want to explain. She can be appreciative of everyone else. She's talking about how we are ourselves and why we are like that, why we are this way, and she has not really the contrary to a heterosexual gaze. It's really a way of finding ourselves and to appreciating ourselves like how we are and not being fixed on anything else. And well, I think that could be all of my presentation and my evidence. So thank you, and that will be all.